Hey everyone, we are so glad to have you joining us here. My name is Jesse Lubinsky. You can find me at J Lubinsky. I'm with the community and evangelism team at Adobe, and I'm also co-host of the Partial Credit podcast. And I am so happy to be back with my good friend Holly Clark. Holly, you want to do an intro?
Oh, I'm just Holly Clark, live in San Diego, do the Infused Classroom series. But Jesse and I, last 2019, we did a little live stream where we talked about the best places to eat in Philly if you're going there for ISTE Live. So we wanted to come back because Jesse has come up with a better way to break those down. So Jesse, give it
So
to us.
yeah, Holly and I tend to communicate through like food pictures and food recommendations. And I feel like when we did this we did a bonus episode of Partial Credit back in 2019, where Holly and I did like a preview of ISTE 2019, all the great food recs. And this time we wanted, instead of doing like the kind of bougie high end restaurants, the James Beard, Michelin star type places, I have the good fortune of working with the ed tech coaches from the school district of Philadelphia. And so I put it out to them. I was like, where do the locals eat in Philadelphia? Because I know when it comes to cheesesteaks, they would not tell me to go to Gino's and Pat's and Tony Luke. So where would they tell me to go? And so what I have is a curated list from them. I have 4 honorable mentions and then a top 5 of places to go to eat while you are in Philadelphia for ISTE 2023. So Holly, are you ready?
I am ready. And I want to say I've done the same list, but I use ChatGPT. So I'm really interested to see if these go together. Okay.
That doesn't surprise me, by the way, that you would have done that, right? So AI infused classroom, check it out on Amazon or wherever you get books. So, okay, here we go. First honorable mention spot. I know, Chinese food isn't the first thing we think of when we think of Philadelphia. And actually, last time we were there, I went to Han Dynasty, which was great. But Dim Sum Garden, if you are into dim sum, check out Dim Sum Garden. So if that's not something you have locally, wherever you're coming from,
oh
you can check
yeah,
it out while you're in Philly. Yeah.
love me some dim sum.
Next on, who doesn't? Next honorable mention spot is actually a place that was, I'm from New York. I live right kind of in between New York and New Haven. Those are 2 pizza havens. Like if you want pizza, those are your 2 best spots. But Philadelphia has its own spot that's gotten some recognition. And this was actually a place that, if you're into the whole Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports going around and rating pizza, he gave this a 9.1 and voted it the best pizza in Philadelphia. This is Angelo's Pizza, right? So this is the only pizza spot that made the list. So if you're like, I need to get some pizza while in Philadelphia, we have Angelo's.
Well, I will say in San Diego, we're not known for our pizza. So when I do come to the
No,
East
you are not.
Coast, so I'm going to grab me some Angelo's Pizza.
So this next honorable mention spot, the biggest debate that this crew had was when I brought up which was the best cheesesteak. And this was the runner up in that conversation. This was Steve's Prince of Steaks. So Steve's Prince of Steaks was our honorable mention on our honorable mention list. It was our runner up for best cheesesteak in Philly.
Huh.
There's multiple locations, right? So I know we tend to think of the Pats and Geno's being right next to each other. If you really want to do that, go take a bite, chuck in the garbage, and then go to Steve's and eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
So, right. Now,
No
this last
Pats
spot
and
for honorable
Gino.
mention, it's not for me. The last honorable mention spot was actually the number 1 place I had on my list for this trip, which is, we mentioned Zahav before, and Zahav, if you have never heard of it, it was rated one of the top restaurants in the country a few years ago. Unfortunately, they made that announcement right before ISTE 2019. We did manage to go, but this was actually, so that's Michael Solomonov, who's a really big time chef on the Philly scene. One of his chefs left and opened up Laser Wolf, which is Israeli grill. That's the last honorable mention spot. Is definitely someplace I want to check out.
Me too.
So
go on Tuesday or Wednesday, everybody. Give us Sunday money. I'm kidding.
So now we're in our top 5, right? Coming in at
Ooh.
number 5, we have Sabrina's Cafe, which has multiple spots, and it's a brunch spot. And in fact, if you want to check out the art museum, which is where the Rocky Steps, and you don't want to go on some crazy early morning run that my podcast co-host Donnie Piercy has been trying to get people to go on, go during open hours, check out Sabrina's Cafe. That's on our list.
Perfect for our West Coast folk who don't want to get up at 6 a.m. or 3 a.m. for us. We'll just head to the brunch spot.
That's right. That's right. Uh, Coming in at number 4, we have a Spanish tapas place. It's actually a Jose Garza spot, Amada.
Ooh. Oh, no way.
Yeah, so
Wow.
you need to get your Spanish tapas fix while you're in Philly. Check out Amada. Now, number 3, I want to take a second here because this is actually a good point. Holly, do you want to talk about where, if I am at the conference and I'm running from session to session, maybe I have like an hour break to grab a bite of food, where should I go?
Okay, so a lot of people don't realize this, but almost under the conference center, so the conference center is over here, but then there's conference centers on top up here. Underneath is something called Reading Market. And Reading Market has some of the best food that you can find. I've never had anything bad there. And it's a bunch of different food stalls. So this is what makes Philadelphia my favorite location that ISTE does, because it has such great access to food.
A word of warning. Don't at 11:55, don't be like, you know what? I want
Yeah.
to go for lunch at noon. The lines are tremendously long. Try to go either right before the rush or after the rush. But our number 3 spot is actually the highest rated place that everyone gave us. Yep, Nick's roast pork at the terminal. I've had it before. It's great. Terminal Market. There's going to be a line, so go early
Yeah.
or go late, but don't go
And
smack in the middle of the lunch rush.
it's on a list. So people know, and people who aren't there at ISTE are like coming to go to it. So you have to really
But I will
prepare.
tell you, anything you can get at the market is going to be great. Like
Yeah.
I've had from like almost a
Yeah.
dozen stalls there and gotten
Yeah.
great food. So
Yeah.
definitely make sure hit up the market for a quick lunch. So that's our number 3 spot. Our number 2 spot is actually the number 1 rated cheesesteak place according to our locals. So I said before, our runner up was Steve's Prince of Steaks. Our number 1 is Delisandro's.
Oh
So
my gosh,
I
I
have
need to
not had
come there.
Delisandro's. Right, but this is where I have to go for at some point during my Philly trip. I'm gonna have
Me
to check
too.
out Delisandro's because if the locals are saying that is the number 1 spot, then we have to check it out.
Yes. And
Now,
I'm so scared now
number
because
1 on the list was a place I had never heard of before. So but it got the most votes from this team, and it was El Vez, which is a upscale Mexican spot. Got the most votes. Again, wouldn't have thought to get Mexican in Philadelphia, but if all the locals are telling me this is the place, maybe we gotta check it out.
yes, and I'm way gonna check it out. And let me tell you why. Because you remember I said that I went to ChatGPT and asked about where I should eat and what are the best
Oh,
restaurants. And
what matched up with what matched up ChatGPT versus the locals? What do we got?
so I have to go to the ChatGPT and give you number 1 was Sahav. And we just talked about that. Number 2 is Reading Terminal Market, which is exactly what we just talked about. If you're trying to get away, and all of these are by they're by the convention center. There's Vernick Food and Drink, which does sound like it's a little sophisticated. It might be one of those nice dinners that you go. Then there's something called The Love, which is located on the corner of 18th and Samsung. There's Verge, which is for vegetarians. There's the Double Knot. It's a trendy spot that speaks to me for Japanese and sushi. There's the High Street on Market located in Old City. There's Morimoto, which I think that you talked about from the renowned chef
Top Chef, or no, Iron Chef, Masahiro Morimoto, right?
Yeah. So that's right in the area. There's Osteria, which would obviously be a Italian spot, but this says it has wood-fired pizzas and homemade pasta. That sounds like something for me, especially after a long day.
All
You
right.
just need some pasta. And then Jesse, our number 1 comes up on ChatGPT's list, which is El Vez, and it describes it as a lively Mexican restaurant in Midtown. El Vez serves up delicious tacos and guacamole, and more importantly, margaritas, offering a vibrant atmosphere. So it was similar, and those give you
Wow.
some
Okay.
of the places you can go.
I will leave everyone with a tip. on how we got to Zahav last time, but don't go until after Monday so that we don't ruin it for Holly. But we were able to go to Zahav last time without reservations by showing up a half hour before doors opened and grabbing one of the bar spots. So you do not need reservations for those. If you're coming to Philly one time and you're just like, I have to check out Zahav, that is how you're going to do it. Yeah.
And Zahav, by the way, is an Israeli restaurant, if I have that right, serving things like hummus and just, the hummus is all I can say. The hummus.
Just go for the hummus sampler was literally like with the fresh pita and the that alone was worth the wait.
Yeah. And if you're really a foodie and we didn't go through it this time, you can watch our other episode on the Partial Credit podcast. But there is new James Beard Awards that have just come out maybe last week, and they have lists of Philly comes in really high on almost everything that they do, from Top Chef, from Best Restaurant, from whatever. So there's really good restaurants that you can look on the James Beard Award if you're that person.
So we can't wait to see you at ISTE. So check us out. Be sure to tag Holly and I. We have our Twitter handle up here. Tag us in your food picks. We want to see all the food picks. We want to know if any of these spots hit the spot. And we can't wait to see you at ISTE 2023.
And it's why we love Philly. Okay, see you there. Thanks, everyone.